Hello everyone, this is Aditya. Welcome to today's session. We are a very important mission. We want to involve more and more women in technology. Now, for this important mission, we have a very important case, Sakshi Rambhia, the girl that is very close to technology. The kind of talent she has always amazed a lot of students. Even at the age of 15, she designed her first app and achieved almost 2,000 organic downloads within a month. She is currently working in Google as a step intern, and she is also the founder of a scholarship track. That is the initiative that will world largest community for a student to access different scholarships and other opportunities by connecting them with a global cohort and past experience to draw from. This is just a brief about Sakshi. Sakshi has done a lot of tremendous work for a community. And without wasting too much time, I would like to invite Sakshi to carry on for this session. And I know this session should be informative, and she is coming with a great hope that everyone would learn a lot of things and that can deliver in the field of technology. Thank you, Sakshi, for accepting our invitation. Please welcome Sakshi Rambhia.
Thank you, Aditya, for the amazing introduction. Um, welcome everyone to the session. I hope you find this useful. Feel free to drop any questions you have in comments, anything you would like me to cover specifically. So, I'll just get started with different scholarships and opportunities you can have in tech. First of all, the first part is why I started scholarship track is because I was also struggling to find these kind of opportunities and scholarships. And when I got one or two of those, I got so many questions like, how did you know about it? How did you find out? How did you apply? What was the application like? So I was like, okay, let's help out a few people. And I decided to just blog our experiences, whoever got these scholarships. And turns out it got a great response. So I thought like we should increase the impact and help people throughout the whole way, right from finding these scholarships to helping you with your application and in the end helping you achieve that. So that is the whole mission I started that, and I hope that I can also give you some of the knowledge in the session today. First step is knowing about these scholarships and opportunities. There are a lot of scholarships for women in technology specifically, and there are various kinds of scholarship. So, one kind would be from your college or institution if they are providing any. Some colleges also have a girl quota or something. And second type, there are government scholarships that are there for women or anyone in general. Even for boys there are a lot of other scholarships from the government, but for that you have to fit in various criterias. You have to have certain annual income criteria, like there are these other eligibility requirements. So that is the second kind of scholarship, that is from the government. And the third type is from private companies. So some of these are from Google, which is the Generation Google Scholarship. Then there's Goldman Sachs Scholarship for Excellence. Then there's Adobe Scholarship from Adobe. Then there's a few more companies that offer scholarships. Like they're less heard of, but it'll be good if you want to take a note of these. There's Palantir. It is Palantir. And Microsoft also used to offer scholarships. I guess they stopped last year because of the pandemic, but you can always be on the lookout. So, all of these companies have a good amount of scholarship that will help you cover a lot or like a major portion of your tuition and fees. That is with respect to scholarships, and then comes the internship part. So, whether you're in your first year or you're in your senior year, I always encourage everybody to apply. Doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of experiences on your resume, but the biggest harm you're doing by not applying is that you're not even trying. Like, say if you apply and somehow you even cross the interview stage, then at least you got some chance, even if you're not prepared or not. So I would always encourage you to apply, whether you're in your first year or you're in your senior year. And with that, I would like to give some tips which are miscellaneous to both whether you're applying for scholarships or you're applying for internships, and I'll go for that year wise. So, for example, for first year, you might not have a lot of experience or prior internships to list out on your resume. So, what you can do is you can join your college clubs and have some leadership positions, like probably you can be the secretary of the club or president or whatever, and you can write that down. You can volunteer for local NGOs or something, and you can write that down for a resume. Then, another point can be personal projects. So nobody expects you to make the most complex AI or something related project in your first year itself just because you want to stand out, but having some step towards, like Aditya earlier mentioned that I had my first app at 15. It was very basic. It wasn't something very complicated. It was like a translate kind of app, but that was my first app, so I was very excited. So there is something like a small step, a small project also counts, like you are actually passionate about technology and you want to apply your learnings. So even if you have the most basic CS classes in your first year, you show recruiters or you show scholarship panel that you applied your knowledge and you put them into a passion project is what matters. And another thing could be you can have a section for any awards and achievements if you've had. You can, if you've participated in any Olympiads or anything before your 12th standard, then you can list all of those as well. But make sure all of these awards are limited to the last 3 years. Something you got in first grade does not matter. A spelling bee in second grade also does not matter. So make sure they are for the last 3 years and that they are relevant. So these are a few ideas that the way you can fill up your resume in your first year. Then if you're in your second year, then they would expect you to have a little bit experience. Maybe in your first year, say you didn't get to work in a technical role for an organization or something, or you didn't volunteer for an NGO in a technical role, then second year maybe you can put that experience somehow, either through an internship if you are fortunate enough to find one, or uh, through volunteering or making your own project. But make sure that if you're in your second year, you have at least some relevant technical experience on your resume, even if it's not very complicated. But I guess that'll help show that you are working in the right directions, because a lot of people like say they are applying for tech jobs, but the experience that they have is in, I don't know, content writing, or they have in graphics. So that is not like, of course the skills are transferable, the soft skills are very much transferable, but there are no direct skills to show recruiters that okay, you're really good at technology or you're really passionate about it, because if you were passionate you would be working on doing something about it, right? And also, just for the sake of making your projects, don't go to GitHub and clone a repo and put it as your project. Don't go to a YouTube tutorial, follow everything step by step, just change the colors and the font and present that also as your project. No, it's very easy to identify that. So it doesn't have to be something very unique or something, but I think the way, okay, this does not apply to everyone. That's just a personal preference. The way I like to stand out a little bit in my projects is I think of a real problem around me. It has to be this, it doesn't matter if it's very big, it can be the smallest of the problem, and try to have a solution related to it. So for example, again I'll give example of my first app. So I live with my grandparents and it's difficult for them to type in English, type fast, text fast, all of that. So basically what that app did was they used to narrate to the app, um, actually, not just English, whether they're typing in Hindi or in any other language. So, what that app did was you speak in Hindi and it would get it typed in Hindi. Because I guess it's not just relevant for them, for me personally, also, I guess I'm very slow typer in all the other languages except English. So, that was just a simple problem I realized, and I thought, okay, let's make an app for that. So, it doesn't have to be something super complicated, but if you want to have something different, then that could be a start. And yeah, that is about the resumes. Oh no, that is not all about resumes. Another thing is the format of your resume. Keep it very simple. Don't put any extra graphics. Don't put a lot of design, colors, lines, and like any kind of graphics, I would say, like shapes and all, because a lot of these resumes go through ATS scanner. ATS is applicant tracking system, which is it's like an automated system where all the resumes are screened and it creates like a summary of your resume. It's like an AI software, and it kind of matches the keywords in your resume to the job description. It creates a summary of your resume and show and kind of predicts how much experience you have or what are your strong points or something like that. Like, I don't know exactly what are the steps it follows, but I have ran through a few ATS scanners, and from the summaries, this is what I've concluded, that it tries to match it to the job description and predict whether you would be a good match to go to the forward stage or not. So, in order to screen your resume, number one, like I said, don't make it fancy because it is very difficult for ATS scanners to parse all the fancy stuff. So because they are the ATS scanners are only looking for text, so it won't know if you decorated your resume pink, blue, and black and brown. It won't know. It doesn't care. All it cares about is the text. Okay, after that, if there's a human reading through the resume, you want it to look pretty for them as well. That is why don't make it like completely congested and completely bad looking. That is why make very simple formatting. If you want, I can share one template with Aditya later on and he can share it with you guys. It's plain simple. Write the position and the company name in bold black, and below that um, write what you did in simple black, like doesn't have to be bold, and leave a space after every experience, one line space. I guess as simple as that. And on the right side, you can mention the dates, like what month, like say Jan of 2019 to March of 2019, something like that. So make it as simple as that. And second thing, the don't part of it is that just because you know that ATS scanners will scan for keywords, do not mug up with, don't like infuse your resume with so many keywords related to job that the ATS or the human, when the human screens later on, they know that you've just tried to play the ATS. Like, if it sounds logical and it's flowing naturally with your description of your responsibilities and all, then it's okay. But if you're just trying to stuff keywords everywhere, saying, okay, the job description said that you should know, I don't know, some framework or something, and in every of your description, you're trying to plug that in. I did this with using that, and ultimately I learned that. So it's very predictable. Don't try to do that. Yeah, I guess that is it about the resumes. That I think I only covered first and second year. So now coming back to third year. Uh, Third year, of course, they would expect it to be a little more advanced, maybe have at least one internship experience. And I would say one thing, that don't shoot only for the best companies. I made that mistake. First of all, I'm an international student. I'm studying in US, so I didn't even know the local companies that existed, but if I had done that research, for sure I would have known. But it's just I just stuck to uh, what everyone was talking about, and that is the biggest mistake you can make. Like, apply everywhere possible, and if your college doesn't have that company on your on campus drive, apply on campus. Like, keep a track of when their applications open, write them down. Like, say this year you missed it because you didn't know when the applications open and the deadline passed, so write it down as a reminder, either on your phone or on a piece of paper or a notebook that you know you will refer to in future, that this month last year the applications open for this company, so next year you know to check back again and you make sure you apply. So I like to keep like a tracking workbook. I've This year what I did was I listed down all the companies and the link to the applications, and then I used to track progress, that did I apply, did I not apply, then did I hear back, so I would update it with first interview call, then second interview call, then if I get a reject, then I would just write reject and highlight it all red. So it helps to track where you're applying and what stage you're at, and that way you probably might not miss out on a lot of companies. So that is how you can put experience in your third year resume. So even if you don't have the biggest companies, it does not matter. If you've had some internship experience, that is good enough. Do not feel low or sad that you did not have the best of the internships out there. It's fine. There's always more opportunities in the future, so that's okay. And fourth year for graduate, of course, similar to third year, you need to have maybe one or two more internships, and rest of the things stay the same. Probably your complexity of the technical project can be higher. You can work on more technical project, and I guess I like to highlight soft skills in a subtle way. So what I mean is, uh, your team, whether you're a team player or not, do you have any leadership skills? So when you're mentioning the college positions, the club positions, that shows your leadership part. But sometimes when you do class projects or group projects and you mention those on your resume, it's good to write that worked in a team of four to do this, or collaborated with X number of people to accomplish Y. So that really shows that you're a team player, and when you join the company, everyone will be happy to have you. Like, you'll be very easygoing and likable with them. So that is also something they refer at Google, particularly they refer to it as googliness. That is basically how likable you are. Like, it's like a test that if someone was stuck with you at the airport for say 15 minutes, would you have a conversation with them? Would the conversation be interesting? So that is basically the likability that you can show subtly in your resume through some additional bullet points that you can add. So it doesn't, your entire responsibilities section doesn't have to be only about what the description of your project was. It has to be about what you did in the project. So make sure you always write numbers, which is impact. So when you're writing helped improve website performance, don't end at that. Helped improve website performance by X percentage. That X percentage is very important. So imagine you're a recruiter and you're looking at a resume, and you have only like 5 seconds to go through all the resumes. So what will attract you more? Seeing bigger numbers like say 1 lakh, or seeing 75%, seeing 15%? You'll look at the numbers first. Like, that's normal. Whenever you're looking at a big piece of text, the numbers will attract you first. So that is basically it. You quantify your impact, and you tell the recruiters or whoever the scholarship panel is, same thing applies to everyone, that how much is the impact that you're creating, and try and quantify it in every single experience that you write down. And it also helps to mention other soft skills along with it. Then one of the mistakes I see a lot of people making is, in the skills section they club a lot of things together. First of all, don't write Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel as your skill. You are applying for software engineering and related positions, not for data entry jobs, so that does not matter. Like, they would expect you to have those skills at least. So don't write that. And one thing that helps me is, instead of writing the skills only in the section, whenever I've mentioned an internship or a technical project, I like to write it over there. Technologies used, say HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. I just write it next to it, like below in one line or something. So when they see it in your skills section and they see your project, they know that you build this project using these languages, these technologies, and these frameworks. So it's not like a random jungle that they have to match, that which technology you use for which project. But instead you give it to them, okay, I built this using the MERN stack. Then they know because there's different ways. You could build a website using plain HTML, CSS, or you could use it, or you could use MERN stack, and then um, just write it below in the skills section. Then they won't know, right? So it's better to always write it after every experience and every technical project. um I have a question here. If internship done in development field, does it value equally? I'm not sure what you mean by that. You mean software development? Then of course it values equally? Mhm.
Yes, I think he means the same thing. You
Okay.
can continue.
Okay. Yeah. So that is about resumes. And one tip I would like to give for first and second year students is that there are a lot of programs that recruit only for first and second year students. So they are more beginner friendly, and the resume screening is also on a lower level compared to third and fourth years because they expect you to be new. They don't expect you to be coding for the last 10 years of your life. They know you're new. A lot of people even decide to do computer science after they get admission, and everybody knows that. Not everybody is born a prodigy. So these first and second year programs, I'm not very sure about the list specifically for India, but we have it posted on scholarship track blog, and in I have also posted on my LinkedIn walls, so I will refer back to it and send the list to Aditya. But a few of them definitely are like the STEP program by Google, that is also for first second year students. And I guess JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs have their summer analyst program, which are comparatively easier. So I don't want to misinform you, so I will again double check with the list and send it to Aditya. So try and aim for those programs first and second year instead of going straight for the third year programs, because they're made for you. You have better chances at getting into those internships than you have at the other ones. That is about resumes and applying for internships. Then about scholarships. Um, Again, we've covered the resumes section for scholarship. It's basically the same. Then comes the essay part. A lot of scholarships will ask you to write some questions which are very, very similar or directly translate to the same thing most of the time, which is what have you done for the community and what is your leadership experience. Like almost every scholarship essay that has been there has asked this question in one way or another. Like you have to put it there sometime, in somewhere. So they want to see that once you gain your education, what are you going to do back? Like, what are you going to give back to the community? Like, are you just going to do it for your own job thing and job security, and then you're going to forget about the rest of the community? Or you're going to utilize your education for the betterment of the world? So it doesn't have to be just the student community you're giving back to, it can be any social cause. you know are you using technology because you're studying technology? That is, I'm giving technology example. That are you going to use technology to help people? Are you going to build solutions? And are you going to do that to change people's lives? Like, what are you doing right now to already bring about that change? Because you've already learned how to build projects, so how are you using those projects to bring forward a change? So they want to see what impact you have on the community, what you're going to give back. And I think that always stands out in the scholarship application, because I've hosted a lot of scholarship panels with people who have gotten these big scholarships, and this one thing has always been common. Like, we went through specific questions and all of the answers had this point in some way or the another, some way or another, that they gave back to the community, they were involved. So it is very important to bring across that trait that shows that you really care about people beyond your own education. um yeah, that is one tip I have for applying for scholarship essays. Then let me see. Yeah, referrals. Wait, I'm just bouncing between scholarships and internships. I'm sorry, but I guess scholarship part is done. That is the most of it. We covered where you can find the applications, then how to uh format your resume, then how you can improve your resume, then how can you improve your essays. Then a few more miscellaneous essay tips is that get your essays reviewed, make sure they are grammatically correct, but at the same time, don't sound like you've written an essay keeping a thesaurus in your hand or copying something straight out of a Oxford dictionary. It doesn't have to be all complicated jargon. It can be simple words, but make sure they make sense, they're grammatically correct, and the flow of the essay is nice. You don't have to sound like you are, I forgot his name. Uh, I forgot his name, but you don't have to sound like you're that um, journalist that tries to swindle so many words together and create an essay. Okay. So, yeah, make it as simple as possible, but make sure the grammar is correct and get it reviewed by a few people. See, you know your own story. So when you write an essay and you skip some parts, to you it will sound like a natural flow because you know your background. But when you give it to someone else, they will find the gaps in your essay because they don't know you or your background or your story. So they will ask you that, how did this connect to that? Like, why did you jump straight from this to that? Can you explain a little bit more about what you did in this organization? I'm not understanding something on your essay. So when you give it to a few people to read and they help you fill out those gaps, like, I know it can be very overwhelming to ask someone else to read your essay. I personally always hate it. I don't like people reading my writing because I don't know, I think I'm terrible at writing. So, but still, give it to someone, at least one person, let them review your essay and submit that. So, yeah, that is about the essays and that is about scholarships in general. Now, jumping back to other opportunities and internships, um, how you can increase your chances of getting called for interviews. I'm sorry, one second. Yeah. So, number one tip is try and get a referral. Now, every company you cannot find a referral, but if you can find, that's awesome. Even if you don't know someone personally, you utilize LinkedIn. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is complete. Then send someone a request and make the request personalized. When you send a personalized request, that's the maximum chances of um, getting it answered or at least accepted. So tell them that I'm X and Y. I'm trying to apply for this that you're working at, and I'm really interested in this position, and this is my background. If you accept the connection, I can probably share my resume and give you some more information about this, and it'll really help me. So once they accept the connection request, you usually get a notification. Not usually, you always get a notification. So don't ignore it. Follow up with them at, hey, thank you for accepting my request. Here is my resume. I hope um, you can refer me. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So try and get referrals at least at big companies. Small companies, it doesn't matter much, but it definitely helps. But it's also a misconception that if you don't have a referral, you have zero chances. No, it does not happen like that. Referral probably helps you speed up your application a little bit because these spots fill out early. But it does not mean that if you don't have a referral, you will never get in. Most of the people, a lot of people have gotten without a referral. So don't take this as a misconception what I'm talking about. Then second tip is apply early. So if you don't have a referral, this is very very important. Usually people don't apply in the first few days when applications open up. So that time recruiters have lesser resumes to go through, and like usually like you would go in and order, right? Whoever applies for first, it'll show up first, and that's when you have most chances of getting screened, because after a point they also have certain quota and they know that is going to start filling up, and they might be a little bit more particular with how many they are going to get screened or not. So even if you are a stellar candidate, you're an exceptional candidate, if the spots are filled out, they're filled out. That is why apply as early as possible and keep your resume ready up to date throughout the year. So if an internship or any fellowship application opens today, you're ready to apply. You can apply it today itself. So keep your application entirely ready for the whole year. You never know when which opportunity might open. Same thing applies for any fellowship you might be applying for, or any other kind of opportunity. I think I missed out on a few things that you can also add in your resume. So I'll cover that right now. One thing is hackathons. So in your awards and achievements section, you can also write about hackathons. And hackathons are very impressive because you build a whole thing within 2 days itself. And most of the time, you pair up with people you've not worked with before. So that is a very, very good way of showing your technical skills. Write about hackathons. And even if you don't win the hackathon, mention it in the project section that build this at an hackathon XYZ. That also works. And then comes open source contributions. Um, if you're passionate about open source, then definitely go for it. A lot of recruiters do look at GitHub and GitHub graphs and contributions to certain um, organizations and all. So um, if you're interested in that, definitely go for that. I'm not the best person to give you advice on that, but there are a lot of great people out there. For example, Kunal or Kunal Kushwaha or someone like that. They talk a lot about open source. They're all about open source, so that will be probably your best resource. Um, yeah, these Yeah. Then improving your profile, one more thing that can help you is competitive programming. So that is basically when you start programming all these platforms like CodeChef and improve your performance and probably get a ranking. That is one of the ways. But again, that is not the only way. You can definitely work on it. You can solve those problems, probably rank 1, rank 10. It's all good. The main thing that it is helping you build is your problem solving skills, and that is all that matters. That is what companies are looking for. Even when they interview you, they want to see how you solve problems. So it does not matter you learn that skill through doing competitive programming or you learn that through doing lead code. Both are different, just saying. So lead code is another platform where you can practice some data structure algorithm, like interview kind of questions. And most companies ask questions straight out of lead code. So that is a good way to improve your problem solving skills. So again, it doesn't matter whether you like lead code or you like competitive programming. One way or another, if you understand data structures, algorithms, and you're improving your problem solving skills, then that's all that matters. You'll ace your interviews. And I guess I'll cover a little bit on interviews. And I'll cover interviews for both. I'll cover for scholarships as well as for internships. So, coming to scholarships, most scholarship interviews are not very technical. They're more about your background and who you are as a person and things like that. So, the only tip I have, like, I have more tips, but the most important tip that I have is be confident. They want to see how confident you are in your story and what you're saying and what you've done. So if there are any hiccups or if you're lying about something, they will know immediately by your confidence level. So just be confident and do not lie anywhere, whether in your resume or in your story. Do not lie because they will ask follow ups, which will lead you in a difficult situation. So just be as natural as possible and be very confident. So that is most important for um, scholarship interviews. Then you can also follow a few frameworks to for your answers. For example, one framework very popular is the STAR framework. So S is for situation. So, say you are asked a question about any challenge or any project or any internship, then all of these kind of behavioral questions can be answered using the STAR framework, wherein for situation you give the situation, like what is the problem you were trying to solve, or what was like the background for your experience. So that is the situation. Then there is the task. What were you supposed to do? Like what needs to be done? What is the end result that you're supposed to get? And action, what did you do to achieve those things? What was your role in it? That is action. And R is results. So, what are the results of your action? That is pretty straightforward. So, what did you accomplish at the end of the internship, or what did you accomplish at the end of the challenge, or the project, or the teamwork? So, this framework is very useful in guiding you in answering these questions very structurally, so you don't miss out any points. When you know you have to talk about situation, task, action, and result, you're not going to miss any point. So that is for scholarship or behavioral interviews in general. Then coming to the technical interviews, so you've done all your practice, you have excellent problem solving skills, but that is not the end of it. Say they ask you one question and you're able to solve it, you're able to write down the entire code within 5 minutes. That's amazing. But if you don't talk through your code, if you're not able to explain your code, you're not able to explain what you've written and how does your code work, then that will count negative and they probably might not screen you to the next round. So it doesn't matter if you solve a lead code hard or a dynamic programming problem within 15 minutes, but if you're not able to explain what you've done, then it might be difficult to go to the next round. So always, whenever you're practicing, try to have mock interviews with other people, your friends or a partner or someone like that, and take rounds explaining, walking through your solution, and talking about your code. That is very, very important. Like, it might sound very easy to say right now, it might sound very easy to do. Oh, I know how this works, I know how to solve this problem, so I'm sure I can explain it also. No, that's not the case. When you actually come to explain it line by line, there are a lot of loopholes that you miss out on. So make sure you practice that. Or if you don't practice it with a friend, record yourself explaining it, and then listen to your own recording, like look at your own video of explaining it and then see whether you could do it right or not. Mhm. That is about the technical interviews. Then I see some questions here. Also, I'm mostly done with my part of information. If you have any questions, start putting them in the comments and I'll try my best to address them.
Okay.
Can you
Okay,
please?
let me read the question for you.
Sure.
First, okay. One question from Tanya. Could you share something about the show, Ascan Fellowship, and how to write effective essay for it?
So I'm sorry, I don't know what the essays and application is like. I know someone that got the fellowship. So, what I will try to do is have that person do a live question answer session on Scholarship Track channel. Like Aditya, if you can send them the link later on for our channels. So I know one person who got the Shaw fellowship. So I guess that'll be your best resource because I haven't applied also. Like, it's a different thing if I didn't get it, but I haven't even applied for it. So I cannot give you the best tips for it. So I will try and get that person to talk about her experience. She can tell you everything from her application to getting selected to the fellowship experience. So I'm sorry. Can you speak something about PM
Okay, thank you.
role?
But it's really a great help.
Sorry?
No, I said it's great that you are sharing someone that has achieved and that can guide a lot of students. I'll definitely going to share the link.
Sure. Thank you. Hmm. Um, PM role.
I think Madhumita, can you please explain a little bit about PM work?
Yeah. So PM role is basically product management. Um, in simple words, it's like a mini CEO role. So as a PM, you're working on the product that you want your team, your engineers to build. So you work with a lot of different teams. So, like I mentioned earlier, try to find a problem that is around you and then think of what you want to build to solve it. So that is basically what PM does. They look for gaps, they look for things that they want to build or additional features that an existing product has. So they are the ones that ideate it and then gather, like work with all the different stakeholders to make sure it's done. So they will work with the legal team, for example, to make sure that it passes all compliance laws, then work with the marketing team and the business team to see whether there is business opportunity in this product or in this feature, and see how it can be marketed effectively. Then work with engineers to discuss the technical implementation of this product and see if there are any loopholes, and by when can this be done, or um, what are some drawbacks, or is it even worth investing in this product, or can we just buy some existing technology for this product and build upon that. So basically a PM is wears all hats at once, like everyone on the team. That is why they are called mini CEO. The primary role is to build products or build features, and you worked with all the different kind of teams to make sure it happens. You might also work with a UI team or UX team to look at how the front end or how the layout of that product would look like. So this is just an example. That is the PM role. And if you want to apply for PM roles, you need to have a little bit of technology experience on your resume as well as a little bit of business side of experience. So by business, I don't mean that only where you started your own company will count as a business experience, but anything in general where you show leadership and collaboration on a larger level counts. So if you have any leadership positions in college, that counts. If you started a community, even better. But if you have real people engaging in the like a good number of people engaging in the community, that is the best. That is some example of business side. You can probably also do freelancing, and if you've set up like a consistent freelancing flow, that will also count as business. So any kind of management, leadership, and business related experience is useful for PM roles on your resume.
Okay, thank you, Sakshi. One more thing, can you please tell about a scholarship track? What is the real motivation behind a scholarship track and how it is actually functioning? So anything in a brief way, so that everyone
Sure,
gets
sure.
some idea about it.
Sure, sure. So, like I mentioned a little earlier, basically, I got the Generation Google Scholarship and I also got the Grace Hopper Scholarship around the same time. That's when a lot of people, I posted on LinkedIn, and a lot of people started asking me, like, how did you know? How did you get it? So, I was in a group with some of the other people who got the scholarship, and I asked them, would you like to share your experience in a blog or something? They were like, okay, let's do it. Let's help more people. So I made the first post about I'm thinking of starting this series where I want to help everyone get scholarships. So that received a good response, fortunately, and that is basically how it started. We started as a blog, and because of the amount of response it received, I wanted to just keep it consistent and be able to write, like give help people with every other scholarship that is there and not just the ones that I got. So that is why I got like a small team of one social media person, one content writer, one graphic designer, and we started posting it regularly. Then that was the recruitment season, internship season. So we decided to expand onto that. That also got a good response. So we started having live Q&As with all the people. So in addition to the blog, where we tell you about where people write down about the experience, we also have these YouTube live Q&As like you're having right now, where people can ask their questions live about a particular internship, say the step internship, where people can ask that what was the application like and how did you get it. So that is in a nutshell what you do. Then for sometimes I also review resumes, also review scholarship applications. We also have like a mentorship program wherein we connect people to companies like Fang and all. So usually when we have these live Q&As with those people, the speaker usually volunteers to mentor one or two people, and we do that as a giveaway. That is another thing. And how does it work? So, like I mentioned, the initial team that we had has grown. All of them has their mini sub teams, which are from different time zones all around the world. And right now we have opened applications again right yesterday. So if you want to join the team, you're more than welcome to join. It is completely volunteering. Everyone is a volunteer. We are all working towards the same goal of trying to help people attain more scholarships and more opportunities. Our mission is to make education and opportunities accessible to all. So everyone who's volunteering is passionate about that goal and trying to make things possible for everyone. So if you want to join, do let me know. I'll send the application link to Aditya. And yeah, that is in a nutshell what we do at Scholarship Track.
Thank you, Sakshi. I think everyone will be interested to join the team. And last question from Madhumita is what are the things we should not write on an application essay for a scholarship or beginners internships?
Interesting. What should you not write? I think the very obvious thing is you should not lie, but I don't think that's worth covering. Second would be don't write trivial things. Like don't try to fit everything that in your resume in your essay. Like if you've had a total of 10 things in your resume, counting projects, experience, and all, you don't need to fit everything together in your essay because they always ask you to upload your resume so they can go through that. Pick out one thing or pick out two things that mean the most and elaborate your whole essay like a story. It's always good to write your essay like a story instead of writing down facts. They're not reading like a journalism paper or something. They're reading a person. They want to know the real human, the real you that they want to give the scholarship to. That is why tell them your story and don't crumble everything in one thing.
Okay, I think Madhumita got her answer. Thank you so much, Sakshi, for accepting our invitation and guiding NIT Agartala in such a great way. And we'll be really
Yeah.
very thankful. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, Sakshi. Okay, we will end this session here. And I will also share the useful links uh, after some time, even by
Sure.
today or tomorrow. And kindly have a check on that links. And we want that everyone should grow and education, as Sakshi said, education and opportunity should be accessible for everyone. It's our goal, and we are will try to work on in our. As I said, it's mission for me to lot of women should be in more and more technical lot in involved should be involved in more and more technical concepts. So it's our aim and it's our mission, so we'll be working in that direction. Thank you, Sakshi, for joining this mission.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Okay,
me.
okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll end this session here. Have a
Bye.
great day.